students, and welcome to Standard 9 study sessions. In today's session we are going to see Standard 9 Geography lesson number 8, Introduction to Economics. In the last video we have already seen this lesson, but now this time we will revise the important points of this lesson, how the things are there given in the lesson in detail. We have seen the whole lesson, but once again we will see this lesson, how it is and how the things are there in this lesson. So one more time we will all revise this lesson, you can say, and in this revision we will see the concepts of economics in detail, so that you can learn almost the concepts in this lesson. So let's see one by one the whole chapter in detail. So let's see the concepts, important concepts in this topic one by one. First very important concept is geographical explanation of economy, economics and economy. The points tell you here that the management of individual or family finances is mainly related to economic factors, that is income and expenditure. What does this point tell us? That the management, see here the word management, of any individual, a person or any family finances, means money related matters, is mainly related to economic factors. And which are these economic factors? Income and expenditure. Whatever income the family earns and whatever are the expenses of the family, and accordingly the management of the finances. Now this is dependent upon the economics. Now the next point is the word economics comes from the Greek word oikonomia, which means family management. From where? From Greek language. The word economics has been derived from the Greek word oikonomia, which means family management. Economics helps us to understand. Now these are the benefits or the uses of economics, the study of economics. What are they? How to use time, money, labor and land effectively. First thing, how should you use your time, how should you use your money, your labor and your land effectively. This is we can do this effectively with the help of the study of economics. Then secondly, how to satisfy the infinite needs of the people using various resources. We have many resources around us, and how to use these resources to satisfy our unlimited infinite needs. If you study economics properly, you can understand how should this be done. Next is human behavior. Now the human behavior, if anybody wants to understand the human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means. Ends means unlimited wants or wishes of human beings, and scarce means insufficient, means things to satisfy. How a person can manage his unlimited wants and his limited income, and how his behavior changes accordingly, this is seen through the study of economics. Then economic management is essential for families, villages, cities, states, countries and the world, means almost for everyone here among us. For any person also, families also, villages, cities, states, countries and the whole world. Now here, while studying economics in our this curriculum, we must refer economics, this term economics, and while studying this we should always see that this is related to the nation as a whole. We are not studying the economic factors of any single person or family or city or state. The nation as a whole we are studying. This must be remembered by all. The next point tells us that the enterprises related to the production, distribution and consumption, means spending of goods and services in a specific region, is called an economy. This is the definition of economy. Define economy. What does economy mean? What is economy? What is economy? The enterprises related to the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services in a specific region is called an economy. These important points you must learn almost for this year's study of geography. Is very, very important to remember this. Now next factor is types of economy. There are three types of economy: capitalistic economy, socialistic economy and mixed economy. There are some similarities and dissimilarities among these. In the capitalistic economy, ownership remains in the private hands. In the socialistic economy, ownership remains to the society. It belongs to the society, in the hands of the society, or rather in the hands of government. And in mixed economy, there is coexistence of private and public sectors. Okay, a balance is there among private and public sector. This was about ownership. Now aim. In the capitalistic economy, the main aim is to earn maximum profit. In the socialistic, it is to achieve social welfare. And again, in the mixed economy, it is a balance between profit and social welfare. The countries having capitalistic economy, the powerful country, most powerful country in the world, you can say USA, Germany, Japan. Socialistic economy, again two most powerful nations, China and Russia. And mixed economy, India, Sweden and UK. So study this particular topic deeply and make a table of these differences. Differentiate between these three types of economy. It will be helpful for you to study. Now next point is factors affecting an economy. To affect means what? To influence, to give influence, to make changes. So which are the factors which can affect the economy in good or bad way? Anyway, here in our textbook 4 points are shown, 4 factors are shown, but other than those 4 there are many other factors. Some of them we'll study now. See here, a pie chart is shown here. Can you see? Okay, these 4 are the main factors which can affect an economy. Occupations means the work people do in the country. So if the occupations, the condition of the occupations in the country is good, the economy is good. Then geographical area and natural resources, how they are used by the nation. The economy of the country depends on that. Political sovereignty, this is very important factor which can affect the economy. Political, because the hold is always in the in the hands of the political parties, government, and it always affects the economy in good or bad way. Then population, if population is more, then obviously the resources are used more than the country in which there is less population. So it adversely affects the economy. So population is one more important factor. Other than these 4 factors, there are some more factors which can affect the economy, and they are physical capital or infrastructure, human capital, technology, law, poor health and low levels of education. All these factors, if you see here, if you observe carefully, the good condition of these factors can affect the economy in a good way, whereas if the condition of all these things are adverse, bad in a country, the economy is affected adversely. So they are highly important factors which can affect an economy. Here we are studying overall 9 factors which can affect an economy. Next concept is globalization of the economy. What is this globalization? Globalization means building a world economy together, of the whole world economy. World economy is a borderless economy. There are no borders among the countries. This country, then again there is one more country. No, not like that. The whole world is having one economy. That is globalization of economy. In world economy, natural resources, profit, services, capital, labor and technology flow freely across borders of countries. There are no borders and no rules and regulations related to trade, that is business. Anybody can travel anywhere for trade purposes. The country's economy and the world economy are parallel to each other. They go side by side, hand in hand, together. Trade is free and there are no restrictions. So this is called globalization of the economy. All these 5 points are very, very important. Next thing is functions of an economy. Very important. What are the functions of any economy? Even though the many countries apply different types of economy and having different types of economy, still the functions of any type of economy in any country remains the same. What are the functions of the economy? See here, the functions of the economy in every country are same. Now some of the functions are given here. Other than these 5, there are many functions of the economy. The main are deciding the product and quantity of its production. Then minimize the production cost as much as possible. Distribution of national income according to social and economic justice. Making appropriate provisions for the economic needs of the future. Deciding for whom the goods will be produced. These 5 functions we have studied deeply in the last video. So here there is no need to explain these again. Now the conclusion of this lesson, that is introduction to economics, is we can say that an economy is beneficial for improved living standards. If your economy is better, living standards are also better. For the improvement of living standards, economy is very essential. For reduction in poverty, to reduce the poverty line, for better education, to give the children in the nation better education, for increase in income equality. The income should be equalized of all sections of the society. This is a very far target, you can say, which may or may not be achieved by the countries, because in any country there are different sections in the society, sectors in the society, poor sector, middle class sector and upper class sector. So it is a future thing, we'll say. And let's see which all countries can carry out this thing with the help of economy. Then to create a balance between limited resources and unlimited needs, this factor remains on the first step for every economy. For every economy, the work, the function of the economy, the main aim of the economy is to create a balance between limited resources and unlimited wants of human beings. So economy can carry out all these things. In short, we can say. I hope that you all have understood the lesson well, and next time we'll see lesson number 2 of our geography textbook section. Okay, till then, bye students.